Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm Erin, and welcome to Maine and Local. We are talking to Ashley Evans Smith this week about the Ellis Park project, and we will be back.
And welcome back. This week our guest is Ashley Evans Smith, and we're going to let her introduce herself. You're a native of Hartford, Kentucky.
I am, yes. You shared both of my last names. I am lucky enough to be an Evans from here in Hartford. I'm really proud of my family and both my parents. Wayne Evans is the owner of Hartford Building and Supply, and Jill Evans is the owner of Little Friends Playhouse. I say I'm proud of them because it is not easy to have two entrepreneurs in the family, but they made it work really well by supporting each other. Also proud to be a Smith. My husband is Lance Smith, and he, most of his family originally hails from Beaver Dam, but we found our way to Hartford. He is, like I said, a native of this area too, and we're happy to have our family here living in downtown Hartford.
Okay, so how did you get involved with the Ellis Park project, which I had no idea about until we did this, but explain how you got involved in that.
Don't feel like you're behind the eight ball at all on this. We are new to the Ellis Park project. We just launched it last week. So you're not too far behind. You haven't missed anything in the news. You're at the forefront of it. I am involved with the Ellis Park project because I'm currently the community coordinator for the city of Hartford. And the Ellis Park project is something that is new in its movement, I guess, but not new as an idea.
Right.
We've known for several years in our city and outside of our city that there needs to be something done with Ellis Park. It is vital to our community that we have a healthy park in it. We want our citizens to be moving. I think we see that push nationally that people need to be outside. They need to have healthy, safe places where they can congregate and they can move and kids can play and adults can walk and you can meet with friends and family in a safe, friendly environment. And we don't have many of those here in Hartford. So we've known for a while that that's something that we want to see happen, that we want to do, but it's finally coming to pass and we're excited for that.
And you have an event that is actually coming up to help, spread awareness of the project.
Certainly. We're looking at this being a multi-phase project, and the first part of that, which I'm sure we'll get into, is a survey, and kind of the second part of it is releasing the results of that survey and continuing to get information from our community, and we're going to be doing that at the event, and we're hosting that November 7th at Ellis Park. I know some of you, and maybe you guys here too, are thinking November 7th at Ellis Park, that's going to be cold, but we're working around that by making it a bonfire event, and so we're looking at talking with what the safest bet is, if it's a big bonfire or several little fires, that we can make it safe and accessible but warm for all of the citizens to get out and look at where Ellis Park is today and imagine where we want it to go in the future.
And really, the Ellis Park I grew up with, I'm from Hartford as well, was a Little League field. There was a little playground back there. There was a little basketball court back there, but that was really all it was. And then they did build the other field that's by Oakwood Drive.
Sure.
And that's really all it's been, all my life anyway.
All I remember too, like you said, we did develop that second field. I can't say that I've played ball on that second field, but my kids have practiced on it at least. I didn't share that when I was talking about how proud I am of my family. I'm proud of them too. I have 4 kids. I have 4 kids too, and they do range in age from 2 to 9. And my boys play baseball, and so we have had the opportunity to. I say my boys, but my boys are the oldest 3. My daughter is not old enough yet. Maybe we'll start t-ball next year. But they have had the opportunity to play a few games and then have practices on those fields. We also live just a couple blocks from Ellis Park. So when we talk about the things that the park currently has to offer, I really enjoy walking with my family and being outside. And we often walk to Ellis Park. We just did one day last week, in fact. But when we walk up there now, we're looking at, we don't necessarily use those ball fields when we're just hanging out as a family. There are a few swings, I think about 6 swings that you can can use. They do have baby swings, which I love. I think every park needs those. But there is just one small kind of climbing equipment that is not very user-friendly for kids smaller than, I would say, 6. And it's not in great condition. In fact, the slide is gone and is boarded up. So there's not a ton to do as far as that goes. There's still the basketball court there. It's not in excellent condition either. A big deterrent right now for a lot of families, I'm afraid, is that there's not a great restroom facility. So if you're,
I don't even remember. Well, I mean, no, honestly, I don't remember them having one at all.
There's a concession stand area, of course, that's not normally functioning, but part of that concession stand is 2 bathrooms. Those are most often locked. I think sometimes they're able to be unlocked if you're having a large event there, but for any family who's just out adventuring for the day,
locked up.
They're locked, and that's not something that someone can use. It's also a stop on the bike path that the community utilizes there on Oakwood Drive, and so I think that would be a nice stop if you needed to use the restroom too, if that were accessible for that.
You mentioned a survey.
Yes.
And that is in effect right now, as a matter of fact. And
It is.
It's going on until the night of the project.
It
right?
is, yes. It is online right now. You can access it at hartfordky.org, the Ellis Park project. You can go to the website and then click on the Ellis Park project to take a virtual tour and pictures of the current state of Ellis Park. We're looking at getting pictures from when Ellis was in its heyday. So if you had some ball games there and wanted to share those
that's
pictures.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd love to show those of when it was in really great condition and people really spent a lot of time playing there. But we are currently doing that survey. It is live. We are already getting tons of response. We just launched it this past Friday, so that was the 2nd, I believe. We launched it that evening, and we're not even 48 hours in, and we already have about 70 responses to that survey. And with the survey,
And I'm sorry. No, I noticed you had, do you agree we need a basketball court? And you've even mentioned some things that I've never even thought about for Hartford.
yes,
Pickleball. Tennis
Pickleball.
court. Tennis court would be great,
yes,
obviously. But all those things that go along with a park, a dog park, a walking trail. And I think that's something that you would not think about when you say Ellis Park. Well, that was just a little league field. But again, this could be huge.
I need you to explain pickleball.
Pickleball, I don't know. It's grown up ping pong, sort of, I guess. It's sort of it's tennis, but
yes.
it's not tennis.
And that's what I've heard it described as kind of a mashup of ping pong and tennis. It's on shrunk tennis
You
court.
can play it on a tennis court.
Yes,
actually.
but you use like
can
a
use
ping pong.
pickleball. But it's I can't go into the complete details, but it's something that's really picked up a lot of steam in the past couple of years.
It
especially
has.
Owensboro. They have a big pickleball.
It's become really popular. I can't say personally that I've played it, but I hear lots of people talking about it. It's become very, very popular.
And it's for all ages, too.
It is.
Really big for all ages.
It is. Very big for all ages. I know tennis is something that a lot of people like to play too. It's not always as young kid friendly, but I think pickleball can be. It's not, you don't have to be as
So we could
skilled,
go
as
out for a
strong.
game.
Sure. Yeah.
We could.
I wouldn't care to.
We would have to read the rules first.
No, I've played tennis, so I always had to go to Beaver Dam to play tennis.
I'm
growing
very
up,
poor at
so,
that, so
yeah.
it'll be a good game.
But yeah, those are things that we have looked at in other communities that gain a lot of traction, that a lot of people seem to like. But really what we want to focus on is what the citizens of Hartford want and would use. We think that's going to be key to sustainability and the livelihood of the park, is making sure that there are things that people want and that they will go to regularly. And that's why we ask those particular questions. We want to know if the citizens if no one knows what pickleball is and no one wants to use it, then it's not something that we're going to look at incorporating and including. But if 60-70% of our population wants a dog park, that's something that we need to consider as we're moving forward.
That's another thing you have something at the city park or at
yes.
county park. That's
Right.
what I'm thinking about. But I think something locally would be terrific
Sure.
idea.
And that's when I mentioned, I said we live just a few blocks from the park and we like to walk up there. Parking is something that we've considered when we're looking at the park and what we want to see happen there. But because it's fairly centrally located and the city of Hartford is not huge, we're looking at things that people can access on foot. And that would be something nice to be able to do. You wouldn't have to load your pet up into the car to be able to drive out to the Ohio County Park.
It's a good point. We were talking beforehand, and some I wanted to mention that I found surprising, and I'm sure a lot of others might as well, as we were talking about the census, which is coming up, which is kind of related to this, actually, when we're talking about the people and what they'd be interested in with the park. And some things that we assume aren't necessarily what's really happening around here, census-wise.
Absolutely. And that is, like I said, we want to be really mindful of who's in our community, what they use, and what they would like to use. And so we wanted to look at the census data, see who lives here, what kind of people live here. Is it mostly young families? Is it mostly elderly? Because different kinds of people, different kinds of families tend to trend in different directions. You don't see a lot of 65-year-olds playing Little League, but you might see them utilizing a walking trail. Just different things that different people might need. And yes, we were a little surprised when we started digging in and looking at the demographics, because we hear often that we have an aging city and an aging area, but the data just really didn't bear that out when we started digging into it. The most recent census is, of course, 10 years old because we're going through a census right now, but that data updated again in 2018 shows that only about 20% of our population is 65 or older. The median age is around 40, 41. And most, I think 60 to 65% of families have someone 18 or younger living in the home. So they're really child-focused families.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But, once I looked at that data, I just learned that not too long ago. But as I'm driving around, I see lots of kids on bicycles, lots of young people walking around. The day that I walked my kids to the park, we walked back, we passed about 6 kids, teenagers, walking. And I thought, maybe I'm just not paying attention to those kids. So
And I'd say the population probably has gotten younger in 10 years.
it may have.
Somewhat, yeah.
It may have.
Because of families. Or people coming back.
Well, I have to say,
Yeah.
with my kids, I did my part, and so there are 4 kids at least added to that in the last 10 years.
Right.
So, we do have a younger population in some areas, and that tends us to want to look at things like, do we need a Little League park? Do we need a spray park? That's something that other communities have had a lot of success with. When you look at other areas in other cities and other communities, they're adding things like spray parks and other features for younger kids, or that can be used across a wider range of ages. So, my kids are starting to play basketball a little bit. I love the basketball courts, and in the survey, I expect that we're going to see a lot of people wanting to play basketball because it's across a wide range of ages.
Yes.
You can play basketball when you're 9. You can also play basketball when you're 65. You can also, though, utilize a spray park or a walking trail across a wide variety of ages. And that's something that we did want to include in the survey as well, is that it's not just limited to citizens who live in Hartford. So we did ask for a zip code, but are encouraging people even that don't live in Hartford to engage with the project if they ever use Ellis Park. And what we had in mind is that we work with the Ohio County League that plays games in Beaver Dam at their park. We work with them now to allow practicing and carryover games or make-up games for the Little League fields. We also want to know if you're, 65 and you're a grandparent, what do you want to do with your grandkids if they come to visit, if they live out of town and they come to visit? If you're a parent and have a teenager that goes away to college, what do you want to do when they come back? So it's not just for anyone who lives inside Hartford city limits or lives in that 42347 zip code. If you ever engage with Ellis Park, then we want feedback from those people as well.
Okay. So the event, what all do we have planned for the event?
We're
on
really
November 7th?
excited.
Yeah.
We're really excited about the event. Like I said, we're thinking about the weather. It's getting cooler already. It's going to be in the evening, so we're going to do that bonfire. We're really excited to engage with local businesses. And so Uncrafted Territory is scheduled to be there and have some of their beverages for sale. We're also working with Copa to have some of their beverages for sale. So you'll have that balance of cold and hot. Copa's planning on bringing hot chocolate and hot tea tea. So if you're freezing, you can warm up with those. And then we will be serving, hopefully, some alcohol from uncrafted territory. We will also be having hot dogs that will be provided by the city. And then we are hoping to work out a way for people to safely make s'mores. We've had mixed reviews on this. I did not know until we started this project that there were people out there that did not like s'mores. But I have discovered this, that not everyone loves s'mores.
Well,
so
they're allowed to roast a hot dog at least.
yes, they can come and roast a hot dog and enjoy a hot dog and a s'more. I, for one, love s'mores. Like I said, it was news to me. I thought it was universal.
Maybe it's in the census.
We didn't ask that question on the survey. Maybe we should have. Those are just the food offerings, but we are also hoping to work with some of our community partners, like the fire department and the police department, to engage with them and hopefully have
Maybe have some vehicles there?
Yes,
Possibly.
We're
Yeah,
hoping to.
okay.
We're hoping to, so
Great.
that families can become more familiar with the people that are part of those services, and kids can maybe look at the fire trucks and look at the police cars, which is always a highlight. And then also, because like we said with the survey, we want people to be aware that Ellis Park is not in great shape, and we know that. It's not where we want it to be.
And we're showing you pictures of this, by the way.
Yes.
Descriptions of the playground, for example.
Yes, that it can be wonderful. It has been wonderful in the past. It can be something that the community is really proud of and is really able to utilize regularly. But for now, it's not in the best shape. And we want people to be able to walk around the park as it is and imagine what it could be.
Sure.
And give us feedback on that. Give us those ideas. So the survey will be accessible online up until the date of that event. But then at the event, you'll also be able to give feedback. If you haven't already done a survey, you can give feedback then about what you'd like to see happen with Ellis Park.
One question I have about the event, are you going to have vendors at the event?
We are not planning to have vendors
Okay.
at the event. We want to stay really Hartford and this area focused. So
Just simple.
simple,
Not very- yeah,
simple, and we
I
want
get
to
it.
really benefit some of the local businesses
Okay,
that we
great.
have here.
Aside from the survey, what's another way people can get involved?
Absolutely. There will be, I'm sure, even greater ways for people to get involved as this project moves forward. But for now, we're looking for feedback from the survey. And then you can also get in touch with us by getting back onto that website and contacting us through the website. Of course, our city council was really excited about this project when we started talking about it. Everyone recognizes how important Ellis Park is and was excited to see that restoration begin. So I think reaching out to any of those people or contacting City Hall would also be an acceptable way to get engaged with the project and find out what the next steps are.
That's great.
That is.
Yeah. Make sure you, and Ashley, we want to thank you for coming.
Thank
And,
you.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this. I mean, that's not far from where my parents live. So.
Right. Very
Then
much
walk
looking forward
over.
to this.
Well, yeah. All right. Make sure you like and subscribe to Maine and Local on all our social media. And again, we're on Podbean, the podcast, Apple Podcasts. And Sam,
Instagram.
anything else? Instagram, yeah. Facebook.
We're on all of those.
All those,
and,
yes.
We'll probably hopefully have some pictures from this event to upload to Instagram
Sure.
once it
Yes,
does
once we
happen.
do have the event.
And
Absolutely.
if you check it out now, I do think we are on there from the event that was last weekend, as a matter of fact, Suicide Awareness Month.
Okay. So
So-
check that out.
Right.
All right. So that is Maine and Local. Thank you.
See you next time.